go.
Today we are reviewing the February 19th, 2004 SmackDown. The first SmackDown after No Way Out 2004, which was the first pay-per-view that I ever ordered. This was before Tro was a fan. But Christian, did you watch the show the night it happened? The SmackDown, not No Way Out. The SmackDown.
I probably did. I just don't recall.
I
It
would think you.
it was how long ago? It was like 20 years ago.
It was over 20 years ago now because we're in March of 2024. So it would be
A year and a month.
a year and a month from this past Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't. I probably did, but
yeah. So not only did I watch this show, but I also have the original airing from the night I watched the show because on this night, I was so happy that Eddie Guerrero won the belt that I wanted to record the show the next night. Well, not the next night, but you know what I'm saying. The very next SmackDown show, and I have the original recording with the UPN logo and everything, with the fucking commercials and everything, and that is what I watched.
and he showed me
last
that
night.
too, folks.
Yes, I showed you a clip from the Cena Angle promo in the open of the show.
Did you take the sound out? Because I couldn't hear the sound on the video.
Again, this is VHS quality. That's why you
Okay.
couldn't hear it. That's why you couldn't hear it. I have to turn my TV up to watch that shit. That's why you couldn't hear it. Yeah. So yeah, I went on a fucking nostalgia trip last night watching all those 2004 commercials. It was pretty fun. Like I said again, this is Tro. Tro doesn't have Tro doesn't really have any memories from this show, but he did watch it. You told me you watched it, so he has stuff to say. We all three of us, because finally, Christian has actually watched the show that we're reviewing. I know he did the last one, but that was with Tro. I wasn't a part of that though. One Night Stand 06. But he has finally actually watched the show, and he's here to.
I'm starting to watch these shows before we review them, folks. The shows that I pick, I go off memory usually, so I'm actually starting to watch them back.
All right. Okay, we
gotta go ahead.
Yeah, we gotta give. Okay, Tro, you ready? Oh yeah, we gotta give him a minute.
Did he freeze?
Well, he just sent the message too in the private chat that just popped up. I don't understand how the hell the private.
Switching to mobile. Okay.
Why does the private chat show up when I'm in full screen, but the actual chat where we can read people's shit doesn't show up? I don't understand that. That literally popped up on the side of my camera, and I'm like, okay. That's why I shook my head. I'm like, okay, Tro. But we're gonna give him a minute, and once he's back, we'll start the review.
While we're waiting, let's tell the people what to do with this channel.
Well, yeah, like and subscribe. Like the video, please subscribe. We got some.
Tell your friends about your favorite YouTube channel.
Well, tell your friends about this YouTube channel. I don't know how many people would call this our favorites. We're waiting for State of Survival. He's not here yet. State of Survival usually comes through. We know one guy who really enjoys our videos, but today, no State of Survival, at least not yet. So, Tro, you know whose jersey? Yeah, no, you good. You know whose jersey I got on today, right?
Is it Alexander Romanoff?
Yes, so that means he's scoring tonight.
It didn't work the last two times you tried it.
You have his jersey on, so we know you ain't scoring tonight. Anyway,
so now that Tro's back, we can finally get on with the show. So
yeah, I'm sorry. My iPad decided now was a good time to crap out.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I had to make the joke. My fault.
No. Don't worry. So let's just set this up. Since now Christian finally has notes, I'm just gonna say I will cut to all you guys after I give my thoughts. Or actually, I'm gonna cut to you guys first. Actually,
so, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut to you guys first. Christian, remember, I'm the one moving from segment to segment. Don't give your thoughts and be like, well, what happened next? So slow it down. You slow it down, pal. That's what the fans want.
I got
slow it down, yeah. So we start off the show with a No Way Out recap. And even though we're not reviewing No Way Out, I just want to say, because again, I've just talked about how special that show is. It's the first pay-per-view, how special it is for me. It's the first pay-per-view I ever ordered. Great American Bash, which we have covered. I love that show. That was my second one. But anyway, at No Way Out 04, I got so invested in Eddie Guerrero's storyline. Fighting the demons and shit that in midway through that match, going into that match, I was not an Eddie Guerrero fan. I was more of a John Cena, Rey Mysterio, those type of guys. But I got so invested into that match, into the storyline, that I became a huge Eddie Guerrero fan on that night. So we get a No Way Out recap, which shows Eddie winning the belt. And then our opening segment, we cut after the No Way Out recap, we cut to Paul Heyman, who announces that he's told Brock Lesnar to take the night off. You lost the belt. You're not in good not in good
mindset.
Yeah, not in a good mindset. Take the night off. And then he says that Eddie Guerrero, your new WWE champion, will battle Chavo Guerrero for the WWE title.
Junior, you gotta be specific.
Chavo Guerrero Jr. And he has assigned a very special referee who's going to call it down the middle. What do you guys think about first Christian, what do you think about Paul Heyman's opener here?
I loved it. I thought it was a great opening segment. It was a great way to get the fans to tune in. Like, this is what you're going to get to see tonight, folks. It was a good, simple, but effective.
Yes. Charles kind of fading away here. Any
Tro, you with us?
I don't know if he can hear us.
Can you hear us, Tro?
But I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What were your thoughts on Heyman?
Yeah, you were kind of fading on us.
If you have any thoughts on that opening segment with Heyman.
I thought it was good. GM Paul Heyman was pretty around the peak of being just pure evil, and he's like, "Yeah, Brock, I'm giving Brock the night off. Eddie, you, on the other hand, you have a match against your nephew, whom you just got out of a blood rivalry with."
Yeah, and we know
a literal blood rival, because there was matches where they bled,
and we know that when the heel GM says this very special referee is going to call it down the middle, we know that's bullshit. We know that's bullshit.
Chicanery.
I have similar feelings to Christian. It's a good way to kick the show off. That's all this segment really was. And Heyman did a solid job to kick the show off. Let us know.
He didn't really show any heel tendencies here. He just kind of period point blank gave away what was happening.
Yeah, but the special referee who's going to call it down the middle, even though he didn't exactly do it in heel fashion, you know that that's bullshit.
It's Paul. He speaks out both sides of his ass.
Yeah. So now we cut to the ring to officially start the show. We get Kurt Angle in ring. He says tonight is all about Eddie Guerrero. He says, "Are you guys ready to party?" Which the guy who's going to interrupt this does a great job mocking.
That was awesome. I love that. I have notes on that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So he comes out and he says he wants to be the first to congratulate Eddie Guerrero on his title victory. He says it will be an honor and a privilege to face him at WrestleMania. Yeah, let's totally ignore this match that Paul Heyman just said. It's an honor, and it'll be an honor and privilege to take on Eddie Guerrero.
Fuck you, Chavo.
What? Chavo got a title shot? What? No, I'm facing Eddie. I mean,
Chavo, you got a title shot? You ain't fucking winning.
And then he's like, for Eddie Guerrero, let's do a cheer. Hip hip. And the crowd goes, hooray, hip hip, hooray.
Hooray.
That is when one of my favorite theme songs hits. Dr. Word Life.
So
Word Life.
Think you're untouchable.
Fire. So Cena comes out, like I said, he mocked the beginning of Kurt Angle's promo there. He's like, "Are you guys ready to party?" By the way, Tro, did you see what Cena was wearing?
Oh, man, I forgot.
It was a 70s throwback Bo Jackson Oakland A's.
Only you would catch that kind of stuff, Frank. Come on, man.
That makes sense.
Only me. So he mocks Kurt Angle going, hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Corny, right? He calls him a corny.
Yeah. So he mocks the celebration. He's like, if we're going to do it for Eddie Guerrero, we're going to do it right. When I say Latino, you say he. Latino in the crowd.
You didn't do that part right. What? He said, when I he goes, everybody on this side is
Yeah.
going to say Latino, and everybody on this side, I forgot about you, y'all going to say Heat. When I point to you, y'all going to do it, so let's go. And then he does it. Yeah.
Latino Heat. Right. And then Cena gives props to Angle because Homeboy won the triple threat, which, by the way, for those who do not know, No Way Out 04, which is why Kurt Angle says it'll be an honor and a privilege to face Eddie Guerrero because
he won the triple threat number one contenders
the
match.
triple threat was the number one contenders match against John Cena and Big Show.
Like, you didn't beat me.
Right, yeah. That's what he says he says that actually to Big Show later in the night.
That's right. He says that later on. I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah. No, it's good.
It
kind of makes no sense because Big Show didn't beat anybody in the triple threat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to like Cena's point, which we'll get to.
And also Cena had a knee brace on.
Yes, because he got hurt in that triple threat.
Yeah.
So he says, get props to going to WrestleMania, but Eddie Guerrero, once again, let's just ignore this match that Paul Heyman just set up. Eddie Guerrero sounds like Eddie Guerrero is going to kick your ass at WrestleMania, is what.
That's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah. Cena says Angle, which leads to a face-to-face. Looks like they're about to brawl, and then our GM Paul Heyman, for the second time in about 10 minutes, shows up on screen, and this would be on the Titantron, of course. He announces that Cena and Angle are not going to face each other tonight, but they're actually going to team up in a tag team match against the Bastions. Christian,
you skipped something though.
Oh, I skipped over. I didn't want to get through everything. That's the way I do it. I just get to the big points. The big points.
Well, one of the side points that I'll mention is Kurt Angle calling John Cena MC Hammer.
Yeah,
see Cena responding with, "You can't touch this."
Right.
If I'm MC Hammer, that's why you can't touch this. I was like, okay, that was clever.
That was clever, but I just get to the big points, the big points of the segment.
Then you get to the big points, I'll give the minor shit. How about that? But Cena was red hot here. I thought that was a fantastic opening. That was a great opening. I like that a lot. It was fun.
All right. That's it for you?
That's it for me. Yep.
Tro, what are your thoughts on this opening promo between Cena and Angle? Not the match, the promo.
It's so obvious that Kurt's gonna turn on Eddie. He's like, hip 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 hip, hooray! I'm a face, guys. Hip hip! I'm so glad that I'm gonna be able to face that good old boy Eddie Guerrero. What about Chavo? Fuck Chavo.
Somebody had to turn though, and it couldn't be Eddie with coming out off of his victory. Somebody had to turn, and we will get to the turn. Yeah,
hooray!
Cena comes out. Man, that was corny as hell. What are you doing?
Tro sounds like Cena mocking Angle.
Hooray! You did it.
I'll say this was another solid segment. You're building up the tag match that is to come, and you're building dissension between Cena and Angle to make that tag match, even more interesting.
Right.
They have to go up against an established tag team, and they are, button heads over here. And
right.
So, I like the whole hip hip hooray stuff with Cena mocking it. That was funny. It was a good segment, I'll say that. Now we move on to the opening match of the night. Kurt Angle and John Cena are taking on the Bashams. I thought this was a decent match. It was okay. Nothing too bad. But it was also nothing too special. What do you think, Christian?
Tag match was great. I love the tag match. The Basham brothers, underrated tag team in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Kurt got tossed through the ropes, but John Cena made the tag as he was going through, and he hit the attitude adjustment on. It was Andy Basham.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was a good match. It was a good little tag match.
True.
It made Kurt and John look strong, which is the point. So,
it's cool. It's cool to see the Bash. It's cool to see like the Bashams, like in between gimmicks. Like this was right after they just got done being Shaniqua's bitches.
Yeah, speaking of. Yeah, go ahead. After you finish, I got something to say about that. Go ahead.
I was hoping you were going to mention that.
That's
Go ahead.
right before they got done being Shaniqua's bitches and eventually joining JBL's cabinet later this year. And as for Kurt and seeing that together, it's just like it's just like typical, like, oh, can these guys coexist? Like, yes, of course they're going to coexist, and maybe at the end they'll break down, but chances are they're going to coexist.
So you mentioned Shaniqua. So Shaniqua made her final on-screen WWE appearance on WWE television at that pay-per-view No Way Out. The last time we ever see her in a WWE ring, she's getting pinned off a bonsai drop from Rikishi. Now, her final appearance as a WWE diva would happen after this show here locally, here me and Tro, New Yorkers. She appeared on UPN 9 News that night. And again, I know this because, again, I've recorded the commercials and they promoted this heavily. Hell, they even promoted it as like on the top of the screen during the main event. It's like, check out Shaniqua on UPN 9 News next. It's like, damn, what the hell? But yes, so Shaniqua was on UPN 9 News doing like fashion tips for like people what to wear while watching SmackDown. That essentially was the last thing she ever did for WWE. She never was on TV again as a WWE diva. So next,
she just didn't cut it.
Right. So next we get.
She wasn't tough enough.
Was one of the first Tough Enough winners, her and Nydia. Next we get.
No.
No. Tough Enough 2. Tough Enough 2. Yeah.
Yeah, she won Tough Enough 2 with another girl.
Maven was for Nydia would be the one. I believe she won with. Maven was the first Tough Enough winner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have highlights from No Way Out of Chavo Guerrero defeating Rey Mysterio to win the Cruiserweight title. And then we have a flashback setting up a match later tonight where last month on SmackDown, so this will be about January of 2004, where Hardcore Holly not only beats Big Show in a street fight, but he chokes him out by putting the chair around his neck and choking him out with the chair. So that is setting up to Big Show defending his U.S. title later in the night against Hardcore Holly. Yeah. So move on. Now we got Paul Heyman backstage. He is talking to somebody on the phone, and then Dawn Marie interrupts him. He's like, Rey Mysterio wants to talk to you. So he's laying on the couch. He's like, oh, what does Rey Mysterio want to say? What does he want to bitch about losing the Cruiserweight title? Blah, blah, blah. And then the camera pans out, and Mysterio's like standing right next to Dawn Marie. And you see Paul Heyman just bitching. And Mysterio is standing right over him. He's like, Paul.
There, like, yep.
Yeah, he's like, Paul, I'm right here. What do you want to say? So he's like, look, he stands up, Paul Heyman does. He's like, Chavo, Ray, I know why you're here. You want to complain about losing the Cruiserweight title? You got screwed over by Chavo Sr. Is that why? He was not Chavo Classic yet, by the way, just to let everybody know. That's why we will be calling him Chavo Sr., not Chavo Classic just yet.
Yeah.
But he's like, that's why you're here, right? Rey Mysterio's like, wrong. And he says, I'm here because I want a rematch between Chavo Guerrero. And so Heyman's like...
You mean with. You said between Chavo Guerrero. You mean with.
Want a rematch with Chavo Guerrero, yeah.
Yeah, you said between.
Well, essentially it's against Chavo Guerrero. Between Chavo Guerrero, right.
In between him and Chavo, whatever.
Yeah. So Heyman essentially rewards Ray for not doing what Heyman thought he was going to do, bitching about losing and being screwed over. He's like, listen, if Chavo Guerrero wins tonight and wins the WWE title, then next week on SmackDown, it'll be it'll be both titles on the line, the WWE and Cruiserweight title, Chavo Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. But if you agree to these, you have to not interfere in the match tonight, the title match tonight. And
he also said, now, since I made a stipulation about that, if he wins tonight, I got to make a stipulation if he loses.
Right. What do you say if he loses?
I don't think they said what happens if he loses.
No, he didn't say what happens. He just says you have to stay back stage and not interfere in the match. That's all he really said. Which Rey Mysterio's like, I'll agree to that. I just wanted my rematch, and that was the end of that segment. What do you think
I
about
thought that Paul had said, like, since I made a stipulation about what happened if Chavo wins, I should make a stipulation about if Chavo loses.
Right, essentially, and that was it. That right? Oh, if Chavo, no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I thought he said something like
He
that.
said he said since I've made that stipulation, it's in your best interest. It's in the best interest that you not interfere in the match. It was something to that
Okay.
effect. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So, what did you think about this segment?
Great segment. I thought it was
Yeah.
fantastic. Paul being weaselly and what the fuck? Yeah, it's great.
All right, Tro.
Ray's like, yeah, I don't exactly want a match tonight because I just got done wrestling on Velocity with Billy Kidman. So I'm cool with wrestling next week and not interfering.
Yeah. You told me you actually you have the Velocity result. I guess we can get to that after SmackDown. You just run them.
Yeah.
We're not going to review.
Yes.
We're not going to review Velocity. Just run down the results. Just like a recap.
Bonus episode, Velocity.
You guys can do that bonus episode. I'm gonna get off.
Well, it's not a bonus episode. We're just gonna recap that at the end.
Well, I gotta get off in a few minutes because my mom is about to record a video. So.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Outro.
So, yeah, I loved Paul Heyman. The scene where Paul Heyman's bitching on the couch and then they cut out to Rey Mysterio. That sold this segment for me. That was very funny. So that's all I really got to say about that segment. I love that part. If you're leaving in a few minutes, you're definitely not going to finish this review.
I'm still here, so keep going.
We still got a lot to go. This is a really cool shot right here. Tro, you're on Long Island. You're not in Brooklyn, right? I don't know if you ever seen this.
Yes, I am on Long Island. Good job, Frank.
Yes, I fixed it this time. So there is a shot in Brooklyn, somewhere in Brooklyn here, with this WrestleMania 20 mural, and it's like Eddie Guerrero with the belt, and it looked really cool. And that sets us up now to the Eddie Guerrero Championship celebration.
Oh, I love this.
Yes, I remember watching this that night. This is essentially why I recorded this episode, because I just became a big fan of Eddie Guerrero, so I want to see his championship celebration. I want to watch it over and over again. So,
did you mention in that Chavo and Ray, or in that Paul Heyman Rey Mysterio segment, that Paul said that if Chavo wins tonight, both titles will be on the line next week?
Yes, I mentioned that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. My fault. I'm sorry.
No, you good. So Eddie comes out. He's like walking through the crowd. There's balloons and confetti coming down.
You can hear people popping balloons in the back there.
Oh, yes. I remember that. There's this great shot that I wanted to get for the thumbnail, but sadly could not find it. Just before they go to commercial, Eddie Guerrero stands on like the middle rope and holds the belt up as there's pyro going off. I'm like, that's an awesome scene. I want that to be and couldn't find it, so I just got one where he's holding the belt from that night.
It's a good one, though.
Yeah, it is. So Eddie, after they go back from break, Eddie says, "What's all the fuss about, me?" And so he tells the fans that supported him, "Thank you." And he tells the people who did not support them in a different language. He says, "You can kiss my ass." And it's funny. I was watching this show with my mom that night. I remember this segment. She's not a big wrestling fan, but I was watching it with her that night. And I'm like, what did he just say? And she's like, essentially, he said, "You can kiss my ass." Because I had no idea at that time. And that's always stuck with me. I always remember that and know what he says there. And then he says, this is one of the funniest parts. There's a couple of really funny parts in this celebration. I mean, it's Eddie Guerrero. What do you expect? But Eddie's like, hey, listen, I didn't go through all the trouble to steal these balloons and all these confettis just to, like for nothing. Let's get this show started.
Let's party.
Yeah, and then once that happens, Chavo Guerrero's music hits, and both of the Chavos, Junior and Senior, come out, and Chavo says he just came off the biggest win of his career, Chavo that is, winning the Cruiserweight title, defeating Rey Mysterio, at No Way Out, and nothing. Eddie Guerrero wins the Undisputed title, and he gets a national holiday. So again, just Chavo being jealous of his uncle, his older uncle,
Yep.
and he's like, he looks at his dad, Chavo does. He says, "Where's my balloons? Where's my confetti? Where's
Yeah.
my celebration?" And Eddie Guerrero just felt funny as fuck. Picks up a balloon. He's like, "Hey, you want a balloon? Here's your balloon." And Chavo just
I know, I like that. Want a balloon? Here you go. That's such an uncle thing to do. It's such an
yeah.
uncle thing to do. I do that to my nephews.
So
You want a cookie? Here you go.
yeah. So then Chavo tells Eddie, savor the moment tonight because once Chavo wins this whole celebration, it'll be all
All
over.
this goes away.
And now Chavo has a little bit of breaking news to close out this segment. He
Yeah.
says the special referee that Paul Heyman was referring to earlier in the show, he was just in the back, was Chavo's Jr. with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman says that the special guest referee is Chavo Guerrero Sr. And he points to Chavo Sr. Sr. is like, "Yeah, I'm the ref, yeah." And Chavo says, "Don't worry, he will call it right down the middle." There that is again.
Yeah, right down the middle. And then as Chavo goes to hug his dad, there's that smug little smile that
Yes.
life is so good. It's like,
So go ahead.
yeah.
What did you think of this segment right here, Christian?
It was great. The whole thing was fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd never seen this segment in full. I only seen clips. So, or I don't recall ever watching it in full. Maybe I did watch it in full. I don't remember.
Maybe.
But I do remember seeing clips of it. Sort of watching it in full was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a great segment. If it wasn't for something that's a little later in the night, this would have been my segment of the night. But there is one thing a lot later in the night that I pick as the segment of the night. And Circle, what did you think about this? Mr. Circle, what did you think? We're gonna have to wait till Tro gets back in here. I don't know what's going on with his internet. Okay, he'll be back. Yeah, he's coming back right now.
Here, I'm gonna remove him for now, and then when I see him, I'll put it back in.
Yeah.
See, you just left the room.
I think he'll be good. No, he already. He already put.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. Yeah. No, I like this segment.
Yeah, his. Oh, he's back. Okay.
There we go. There you go. What happened?
Okay.
I don't. You know what? This fucking stream is cursed today. What can I say?
It's on curse on your
smooth.
Side. It's curse on your side.
I was going to say it's going great for me and Frank.
No, I'm just saying. Like we had to wake this morning. We had to wait. Now this fucking thing is just not going good.
That's what anybody who views the show in the future, because right now nobody is that. They don't know about that. We did have a couple. We had to wait a couple times. We were going to do this a long time ago.
We were going to do this show this morning. Unfortunately, your boy, me, slept in a little too late. And by the time I woke up and I got in here, somebody, Tro, had to leave to go to work. And so we were not able to shoot at that point. So
how dare I?
How dare you go out and make money?
I did apologize to both of them.
Yeah, you didn't have
to.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, you didn't have to.
And I did not accept your apology. Screw you, CJ.
Yeah, I know. I'm fired. This is my last show. Alexander Daddario's coming next week.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's over something different. You're getting fired anyway. But see, you don't have to apologize. We're just out here having fun, man. If you can't make because you overslept, that's fine. Nobody's working here. Nobody's anybody's boss. If I was paying you to do this and you overslept, your ass would have been gone. No, I'm playing.
But the funny thing is, guys, is I got out, or I went out to the family room, and my mom was sitting on the couch, and I told her, like, man, I feel bad, Mom. She goes, why? I'm like, I was supposed to do a podcast this morning with Frank and Tro, and I overslept. And she goes, oh, and they're mad at you. And I'm like, no, actually, they're not mad at me at all. I just feel terrible. Okay, let me rephrase that. Frank's not mad at me. Tro fucking livid. Look at that.
You know what?
Face.
Comment down below why CJ shouldn't have overslept.
Hey, come on, Drew. Do your McMahon. Do the Vince thing. Do the Vince thing.
Ow! How dare you oversleep? God damn it, pal!
What happens to people who what happens to people who oversleep, Mr. McMahon?
You're fired.
Sleeping is a sign of weakness.
It's a fact.
Sneezing in front of me is a sign of weakness. I don't sleep. I haven't slept since the 70s.
So true.
I've done enormous amounts of cocaine.
So true. So true. What did you think of the Eddie Guerrero championship celebration?
I thought it, was great, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but when Chavo came out, he's like, "Why isn't anyone celebrating me?" This was very, very reminiscent of when Owen Hart came out at the end of WrestleMania
I didn't pick up
10.
on that, but yeah,
that's
he's like, after he had beaten Brett earlier in the night, he's like, "Why aren't you guys celebrating me? I beat Brett. Why is he got? He has the title." It was like very like,
yeah, that was a great moment too. With Owen.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good to see good old happy Eddie Guerrero before everything went to shit.
Yeah.
But what about me? What about Raven? No, I'm sorry.
Like you say, yeah, it's a shame that, to look back on this and know that Eddie Guerrero's only like a year and a half away from passing away. It's really sad.
Even that, there's like knowing that he'll push himself so hard during this title run and blame himself when the ratings go down and whatnot.
He did not need to do that chair spot with JBL. There's no doubt about that. He did not. No.
Nope.
To be fair, that was kind of a botched blade chop. So he wasn't supposed to bleed a fucking bucket of blood and get the pay-per-view rated MA.
Oh gosh. So like I said, this was if it wasn't for a segment that's coming up a little later tonight, this would be my pick for segment of the night. Great celebration for Eddie, and then the heel interrupting it, and it led to the funny moments. Like I said, the one with the balloon. Chad was like, "Where's my balloons?" And he's like, "Hey, here, here's a balloon. You want a balloon? Here you go." That was great.
Ooh, Chavo.
Yeah, the revelation that Chavo Sr. is going to be the special referee, and we all know he's not going to call that down the middle. Everybody watching that is like, no, there's something fishy going on here. So that was a great segment, and then we move on. This essentially was just to build up a match at WrestleMania, but we get the U.S. title, Big Show versus Hardcore Holly. Again, this also going back to the match where the last month where Hardcore choked out Big Show with the steel chair, and I found it funny because normally when you do something like that and then have a big rematch, normally the guy who's getting choked out with a steel chair will be the one to like run to the ring like, I want to get this revenge. I want to get this revenge. And
my apologies, didn't mean to leave.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Instead, it's the guy doing the choking that actually runs to the ring as if he's looking to get some revenge. So, quick match here. Christian? What are your thoughts? Big Show.
This match was great. I love that. I love the fact that this was not a collar and elbow tie up type start. It was just we're throwing hands from the get go. It's on site. Like you and me, we're throwing them, and we're both gonna land shots on each other. Pause. But yeah, we're beating the shit out of each other tonight, and that's what they did.
Okay,
and Big Show won.
Tro, what's your thoughts?
Well, it's the Big Show in 2004 with the U.S. title, and this is before Big Show got too big for himself. But overall, I think this match was good for what it was, and Hardcore Holly coming off a title match at the Rumble the month before, so keep him strong a little bit.
Yeah. I had a couple more thoughts. I'm sorry, I wrote this down.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, hearing Hardcore Holly's theme song, without the "How do you like me now" is kind of weird.
Yeah,
Number one. Number two, Big Show's chops sound like if you slammed a fridge door shut.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then I think Hardcore Holly should have had a run with the world title.
I respectfully disagree with that, but
Well, I
so
disrespectfully disagree with you.
so yeah, I don't have much to say about this match. This is a quick match. It's not really much going on. Big
Yeah.
Show essentially gets his revenge for the
Big Show wins
chokeout.
with the choke slam.
Yeah. He essentially gets his revenge for the chokeout thing, which is kind of funny. Like it's like you would think like Big Show was the baby face here, but he
Yeah.
wasn't. Like, you know, the Hardcore did a heel thing to him and he had to pay for it. That's all. I don't really have much to say about this match. It wasn't that great. It was a quick match. And so after the match, we hear that
go.
word life again. John Cena comes out and he challenges Big Show for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. He mentions that Big Show has never beat Cena one-on-one. Big Show accepts, but he lets John Cena know it's your
My
funeral.
title? My title?
He tells
What's
him
that reference? What's that reference?
That's Ross, my sandwich.
I put that in the notes just to make sure you
Yeah. So he tells Cena, just understand, boy, this is your funeral. So what's your thoughts on this, Christian?
Well, first of all, you call somebody boy, that's grounds for them coming to the ring and just smacking the shit out of you. Call me boy, bitch, I'm a fucking man. I'm gonna show you how much of a man I am. Pause. But yeah, I'm gonna show you what I can do I'm gonna show you what this boy is capable of.
Yeah.
When I beat the fuck out of you in the ring. But nobody's gonna do that, so whatever. No, it was a good little promo. I like that. It got the point across for Cena.
Yeah, Tro, what do you think?
I like that Cena just came out and said, "No, I want to face you at WrestleMania," and you're probably gonna end up accepting the bitch. Like, oh yeah, if you want to face me, go face me right ahead. And, you know, I don't have anything better planned, and
I just got done. I just got done wrestling Hardcore Holly. You think I'm busy? Come on.
I think I'm busy. I have nothing. But did you notice how small the U.S. title is on Big Show though?
Oh yeah.
God.
Oh yeah. He held it.
It looks like a plastic toy.
He held it long enough to where you can see it because he was champ from No Mercy 03 all the way to WrestleMania 20. So you got a good couple of months there watching him with that little ass belt. He could never fit it around his waist, so he'd always have it on his shoulder, and it looked like he's holding a little toy belt.
It looks like do you remember the WWE action figures, and they have the belt set with them? They have the belts that go with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a couple of those. Yeah, that's what that looks like. Yeah. But I forgot what I was going. I forgot what I was going to say. Damn, never mind.
Okay. I'll say this again. This is just building up a match at Mania. I get it. This is the first show after No Way Out, so of course you got to set up some Mania stuff. That's essentially all this was. It was a good segment. Nothing more, too much to talk about. Then we got a nice little setup going to break where Josh Matthews is hectic running through the backstage area, and he's like, "I just heard that Brock Lesnar has entered the arena." So we go to commercial after that. And then we come back, we get a recap of Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, all the stuff that went on with them at No Way Out. What do you got to say?
I was going to say, I got to take off. My mom's going to do her video now, so I'll be in the comments. Frank, you have my notes. I know I gave them to you, so you can read my notes for my thoughts.
Okay.
There you go. But I gotta bounce so that my mom can do her video. So until next time, I'm CJ. I'm out.
Okay. So we got a recap of Brock Lesnar and Goldberg at No Way Out, where they did a segment prior to the show, or not prior to the show, prior to the main event, I should say, where Goldberg gets in the ring. He jumped the guardrail when he was in the crowd. Of course, Goldberg's a Raw guy.
Yeah.
So he jumps the ring and spears Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman has him arrested, and he, of course, ends up interfering in the title match, spearing Brock Lesnar, costing him the title, and that is what this Brock Lesnar in ring is about to be about. This was a great segment. Taz, as soon as we have the setup going to break where Josh Matthews is hectic. He's like, "Oh no, Brock Lesnar's here," blah blah blah. Now Brock Lesnar's music hits, and Taz sets it up perfectly. Oh no, He's here. No. So Brock Lesnar has a mental breakdown right in the middle of the ring.
Yep.
Here, and he's bitching that Eddie Guerrero. That title was my life. Eddie Guerrero's just gonna pawn it. He's gonna go to some pawn shop and pawn it off. That title's my life. It meant something to me. And so Brock gets on his knees at the end of the segment and says, "Please, Mr. McMahon, I'm begging you at WrestleMania 20, make it Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar." He said it the other way. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. I like the way he said Goldberg because you just feel the pain, the angst in his.
Yeah.
He really wants this match. He's so pissed off at Goldberg. Tro, what's your thoughts?
It is a little bizarre that Brock Lesnar's not like, no, I can face Goldberg eventually, but first I want to, get my title back.
Yeah.
Instead, he is like so mentally far gone at this point where he's like, no, I can only think of Goldberg. There's no way that Eddie Guerrero actually beat me fair.
Right.
Goldberg is the sole reason why I could have possibly lost to that Mexican jumping bean.
Right.
As he called him.
Yeah. So that's all you got to say.
Unfortunately, when they did get to WrestleMania, the match was pretty shit because Brock said, Brock said, "I'm going to the NFL."
Yeah, and then Goldberg was on his way out too, and that's the problem. They stood there for like 5 minutes doing nothing. And even Stone Cold's like, "Guys, can we get it going here?" And the crowd's booing. I think I guess Goldberg and Brock, once the crowd started booing them, took it a certain way, and it's like, we're just gonna fine. If you want to boo us, we're just gonna stand here and do nothing for 5 minutes, which was so weird. Like, you've never seen anybody do that before. It was very weird. But this
didn't care.
Yeah. This segment here, I loved it. Brock Lesnar just being having a mental breakdown here. Goldberg took his title, stole his title from him. Well, technically, Eddie Guerrero stole his title, but it was Goldberg's fault. And he wants that match. He wants it badly. And this was the kickoff. Technically, the kickoff to Brock and Goldberg was back when
Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series 03, and then Austin on that Raw episode giving Goldberg a ticket saying, "Bill, don't do anything I wouldn't do." Gives him a ticket to No Way Out. But yeah, this was a great segment. We have the two Chavos backstage. Chavo Jr. says he's going to beat Eddie tonight and have a bigger celebration than Eddie ever had next week in Kansas City. And he tells Chavo Sr., they love me in Kansas City. He's like, "Oh, Chavo, they love you everywhere," Chavo Sr. says. And he tells his dad, "Listen, I want you to call this match down the middle." We all know this is bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. And Chavo Sr.'s like, "Yeah, I'm going to call it down the middle. Don't worry about me." He even says it too. Like, Chavo says it like, "I know Eddie's your uncle, or I'm not your uncle, your brother," or whatever it is. He's like, "Please call it down the middle." It's like, yeah, that's why we're worried that he's not going to call it down the middle, because he's related to Eddie. What did you think of this segment here with Chavo and Eddie? Chavo and, the Chavos, excuse me. Both Chavos.
It's funny because Chavo Sr. is just being like, he's being a good dad. He's like, "Oh yeah, of course, I'll call it down the middle. And when you win, son, don't you worry. We'll forget about this whole Eddie Guerrero thing.
Yeah.
We'll have an even bigger." It's like when a spoiled kid goes to another kid's birthday party and they see that they're having a bigger party and they're like, no, son, I promise you, we'll have an even better one. When it's your birthday.
That's actually a great way to put it. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
It's also cool to see Chavo Senior because surprisingly, actually half decent, especially for his age.
Have you seen him as Chavo Classic? This is essentially the Chavo Classic era. But did you see when he becomes Chavo Classic? He wins the Cruiserweight.
He has a few good matches.
Yeah, I love this run with Chavo Senior, the Chavo Senior / Chavo Classic run. I mean, technically, this is the first time I ever saw Chavo Senior. I didn't know him before before 2004, or really late 2003, I guess. When he
It
came
would have
in.
been wild if he had actually called the match down the middle. And Chop was like, "What the fuck are you doing? I'm calling it down the middle, like you said." I was joking. Oh, I see.
That would have been great. Yeah. So, yeah, this was a good little heel segment. Just the two heels acting like they're gonna be the baby faces, and yeah, that they love you in Kansas City. Oh, they love me in Kansas City. Oh, they love you everywhere, Chavo. They don't worry about it.
You're the best, Chavo.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a good heel segment. So next is something I know you haven't seen because, again, remember, I'm watching the live broadcast here. I recorded the live broadcast, and I know this is not on the network because, first of all, I'm pretty sure I've watched the episode on the network, but also there's news clippings. So our local news, because this was in New York, and they're showing like WB11 local news clips and shit. It's a video package of Sable and Tori having an autograph signing in New York for their Playboy magazines. Essentially, what's going on here is they're doing the rounds here in the city for this Playboy. So not only are they showing highlights of the autograph segment, but like I said, news clips are in there and everything, and that's why I'm thinking this is not on the network. You can't show like the news stuff and all that. That's copyright.
New York City in 2003 must have been 2004.
Yeah.
Must have been something wild because they just had lost their spot in Times Square to Hard Rock.
Yeah.
You know, now I think of it, that must have like really screwed with them because they must have had a WrestleMania 20 penciled in for MSG for a while now, and they're probably planning on having like a big thing at I guess at that point towards the end it was called the world at that.
Yeah.
Before it became the Hard Rock, which I'm pretty sure it still is now.
Yeah, it
Hard
is.
Rock.
It is. Yep.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Whenever I go to the city, and unfortunately my bus detours enough for it to end up in Times Square, and on my way past it, I'm like, oh, there it is. That's WWF New York.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've never thought of that because they went out of business in February of 2003. Literally, so this is a year ago at this point, but literally like a couple of months after I became a fan. I became a fan Thanksgiving 2002, and I've told this story. I'm pretty sure I've told you this story, my world story. I was in there once, and I wasn't even a fan yet, and I hated being there. I'm like, I want to go home. We've been in the city all day. It's like my cousin was a wrestling fan. It's like he wanted to go there, and I'm like, I want to go home. And then like I become a wrestling fan. They get rid of the world, and the funny part is, like he was no longer a wrestling fan. I'm like, I can't wait to talk wrestling with him. I was like, I don't watch that shit anymore. Like
you go into WWF New York as not a fan, and Maven's like, hey there, kiddo. How are you? Get the fuck away from me, bald man.
I don't think anybody was there at the time.
Undertaker gets out like, hey, how you doing there, buddy? Who the fuck are you? This is a once in a life opportunity to take a photo with me. Do you want it? Bitch, no.
No, I want to go home.
I want to go home
all day. So it's funny you mentioned the city in 2004 because I immediately thought so. I actually on New Year's Day in 2004, I was actually at the city, and we talked about the Toys R Us. We talked about that before. I actually got a toy cruiserweight belt from that Toys R Us that day. I remember I was like walking around the city with it all day. Like I was so excited to have the cruiserweight.
I'm the cruiserweight champ, bitch.
Like the tallest cruiser. I was still tall back then. So like the tallest cruiserweight champion of all time. So okay, after that we have a Raw recap. Kane is essentially acknowledging this supernatural bullshit that's been going on with him. He's like, whoever's doing this, I'm coming after you. I know you're not the Undertaker because I buried my brother alive. The Undertaker is dead. So that he leaves, and as he's walking out, the supernatural stuff happens again. It starts raining on Kane, and Kane's like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, that's your Raw recap. And now Okay, now we have something. Now I have something I want to talk about. I'll let you get your thoughts on this first. So we go backstage and we see Paul Heyman walking up on this situation, and you hear him before you see what's even going on. You hear him say, "Oh, not again! What's going on here?" Blah blah blah. And he walks over, and it's Chavo Senior laid out, knocked out by somebody. Kurt Angle is looking down on him. You got the referees and shit watching, medical people watching on Chavo Senior. And Kurt Angle gets up. He's like, "What's going on, Paul? This is like the third time this has happened. Another person mysteriously knocked out. What the hell's going on here? This is on your hands. Blah, blah, blah. And it could be me. It could have been me. And it could be you next time. Blah, blah, blah." And they go to break saying that coming up next is the main event. And of course, that's, we're going to break now. We know there's supposed to be a special guest referee, and now we got no referee. So what the hell? Good way to go to break there. What do you think about this segment here?
I like that SmackDown in 2004 is so unhinged.
I love it.
That Paul Heyman's like, not again.
Yeah.
A guy is knocked out in your locker room, and you're like, not again. And Kurt just so happens to be standing up. Gee, Willikers, I wonder what. And he also just so happened to have a blue SmackDown referee show. Well, I mean,
that's coming up. That's coming up. He doesn't have one yet. That's coming up, actually.
Gee Willikers, what are the odds?
Yeah. So I'll say, because since you mentioned like how hectic and how crazy SmackDown 04 is, a lot of people hate on SmackDown 2004. I love SmackDown 2004. I get it. Brock Lesnar walks out. You have no megastar. You're trying to build John Cena. You're trying to bring in these guys, Kenzo Suzuki.
You're trying to build up JBL too.
Right. And I love JBL as a heel. I do. But I do admit, like, in terms of a megastar that you can, like, have, like, go to, all these big events, be like, here's our champ. I get it. JBL's not exactly that type of guy. He's not John Cena or he's not Brock Lesnar, but I think they did a good job with storylines. In fact, I'm going to the next show we're going to do is another one in 04 that I actually recorded. I'm going to get to that a little later. It involves What was that?
You actually kind of they actually kind of ran into a problem on SmackDown because WrestleMania was so early in this year.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like March 15th.
March 14th.
And 14th.
Yeah.
And Judgment Day, if I remember correctly, wasn't until like either late April or early May. So,
yeah, May.
And that's a long time. That's a long time to not have a big show.
Yeah.
They got rid of Paul Heyman like the week after WrestleMania, but still, it's like, well, Kurt's hurt, guys. We're kind of screwed. We're kind of fucked here.
Yeah, that's something I didn't mention as well. Kurt Angle did get hurt, and that kind of hurt him for a couple of months there. Although they did a great job with Angle making him the heel GM. I loved all that. The show we're gonna go over next starts with him in the ring. I'm not saying next as in we're gonna go over it literally. I gotta watch it first of all, but it starts with Kurt Angle in the ring with the wheelchair and shit, and it was a great. I love what they did with Angle. Do you remember when Big Show chokeslammed him off the ledge?
Yeah, and he died. They acted like he.
I have a funny story with that too. So, the school I was going to at the time, I was in public school. This was like early school. I was young back then, and I was going to PS33. Shout out to PS33. Shout out to Zelina Vega, who also went to PS33. So, that night I'm watching this episode, and Booker T and RVD is the main event. They go off the air, the copyright 2004 thing. So it's like, okay, I can go to sleep. I got school tomorrow. I got to go to sleep now. Show's over. Next day, I go to school. We're like in the auditorium. They're like, did you see what happened to Kurt Angle? Did you see what happened to Kurt Angle? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, he got chokeslammed off a ledge by Big Show. I'm like, what? So now I'm like, I want to see this. He got chokeslammed off a ledge, guy. My friends are telling me there was all this blood coming out from back of his head. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to see it. So I see it on Velocity because Velocity, they recap SmackDown. And of course, Saturday, no school next day. I can be as up late as long as I want. And they show it And I was so distraught. Like, again, I'm a young kid here. You know, I don't know. It's what I'm seeing here is work, shit like that. I don't even know what the hell work means back then. But I see Big Show choke slam off ledge. You see this guy's like laying there, his legs like all distorted, blood coming out of his head. I started crying. Like, I could not believe what I was seeing.
Kurt Angle's dead.
Yeah, but I love Kurt Angle as a heel GM. I love the Concrete Grip storyline, which is that's a big part of the show that I'm going to choose next. There's a lot of stuff. JBL's heel run as champ was great. 2004 SmackDown was very underrated. But let's get back to the show here. So you gave all your thoughts on the Heyman.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my one little problem. I like it. I kind of get like it's kind of implied that Kurt Angle's the guy that did this, right? But here's the thing. You realize Kurt Angle says, like, this is like the third time this has happened, Paul. What's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. Well, it's third time it's happened. There never was a revelation as like, oh, here's the guy that's been doing all this. Like, this essentially went nowhere. And I remember even back then I was thinking, okay, so Undertaker's coming back from Mania. This must be Undertaker doing all this. And this is how he's going to come back. Nobody ever got revealed as to this is the guy that did it. Like, this wasn't just on this night with Chavo, which if with that, like you're muted, by the way.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah, like I said, it's like week after week for at least a couple of times, it's like somebody's laid out and nothing came of it. I think they did it for Eddie Guerrero when he won the Royal Rumble. The SmackDown Rumble, somebody got knocked out and Eddie took his place. And then
it was probably Kurt.
They never revealed it though.
But I think it was probably implied since Kurt was standing over this body. Right. It was probably implied that, like, and it makes sense because if Kurt, right? Because it all benefits Kurt. Like, him taking out Eddie would stop Eddie from possibly eliminating him from the Rumble thing.
No. The person who got attacked, I don't remember who it was, led to Eddie getting into that SmackDown Rumble. Mm. And that's how I think he eliminated Kurt Angle to win that SmackDown Rumble. Yeah. And that's how he got his shot at No Way Out, to which he won the title at No Way Out. I get here with this show, it's sort of implied that Kurt Angle is the one who did it, but they never truly like revealed, oh, this is how Kurt Angle, got his spot to do what he does, which we will get to, what he does at the end of the night. It's sort of implied, but they never really bring it up. So I don't know how we can like definitively say. And even then, even if it's implied, even if they reveal, by the way, Stave Survival wants to let us know, yes, game is starting soon. We'll be watching. Don't worry about that.
Yes.
And he says, afternoon, boys. Good afternoon, State of Survival. Yeah, it's
game threat should be up.
Yeah. I get
you should have gotten the tag.
I got it. Yeah, right.
Good.
Right.
Good. I'm just making sure I scheduled the post. You gotta make sure I don't want Greg and fucking everyone else to be on my ass.
I got NHL Now on in the background if you can't see. Okay, so yeah, you can sort of come to the conclusion here that Angle was one that did it on this night, but that doesn't explain all the other times that it happened. That's one thing I'll never understand. Like these mysterious attacks that went nowhere. But and they could have done something big with him. I just don't understand, man. So like I said, we go to the commercial. They announce that the main event is next. We now don't have a special referee. So then they come back to commercial, and it's, again, backstage. Heyman's running again, and he's running this time to track down Kurt Angle. And he says, look, I thought about what you said. And, again, the saying that, Heyman, it could be you next, or this could have been me. So he's like, I thought about what you said, and you're right. But now I got this problem where I need a referee for the main event. Kurt Angle immediately says, listen, this ain't my problem. To which Paul Heyman pulls out a ref shirt and he puts it on Angle's shoulder and he says, it just became your problem. So then we go straight to the main event. Chavo comes out first, and then the next guy to come out is Angle. So Angle, whether he likes it or not, and I think as we're going to find out, he definitely didn't have a problem with this. He comes out with the referee shirt on, and then of course Eddie Guerrero comes out. This match had a little bit of drama, and we're gonna get over what happened after the match. That had some great drama too. But this match, I felt a lot of drama here. It was a great match in my opinion. If I had to pick a match of the night, this would be it. What are your thoughts on the match?
I thought the match was great. You get Chavo and Eddie together, and it's just magic, really. And I'm just trying to ponder. Now I'm trying to think. I'm trying to put the storyline together in my head. How, if maybe Paul was in on it. That's why he gave Kurt the referee shirt, and Kurt was.
Well, see, if you remember the Mania storyline building up to that, I mean, Paul Heyman was 100% against Eddie Guerrero, and he was on the side of Kurt Angle. But they're still they don't kick off the next SmackDown ha ha ha, you all fell for it. Kurt Angle attacked Chavo Sr., and we all did that to set up Eddie. They never revealed that. But yeah, I do believe.
What if Kurt told Chavo and Chavo Sr. what he was going to do? So he told Chavo Sr. to act like you've been attacked, which would be understandable because people had been attacked before.
Yeah.
And then Paul would find him and be like, oh, gee whiz, I don't know what happened here.
Yeah. That makes more sense to me because...
We're putting more thought into this than they did.
Because they didn't. That part makes more sense to me though, because Chavo's a heel too. Both of the Chavos, so they would have no problem with wanting to get Pillow, beat down on Eddie. So anyway, what happens here at the end of this match is Eddie hits the 5-star frog splash. Angle counts 1. Angle counts 2, and this is essentially the end of the match because Angle didn't count 3. But now we get to the final segment of the night. The match is essentially over here. Angle gets up. He just no selling the pin. He looks deep in deep in Eddie's eyes. No, not counting 3. And Eddie's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Boom! Angle knocks down Kurt Angle, or Angle. Excuse me. Angle knocks out. Okay, yeah, I'll get to that. Angle.
I was just putting that in there just so I can look at them.
Yeah, Angle knocks down Eddie Guerrero and then just beats him up for a good 5 minutes. And remember, I told you when I first told you we were gonna go over this show. This whole time when I'm watching this, I thought Edge was coming back. I was a big Edge fan, and it made so much sense because if you remember, have you seen No Way Out 2003?
Yes.
So you've seen the segment where it's Kurt Angle and Team Angle, guys, we got to come up with a plan for tonight, this 6-man tag. And here's what I have in mind. And they cut out of that segment just as Kurt Angle's about to tell Team Angle what they're going to do. And then a few segments later, we see Edge laid out. And of course, they were doing this because storyline, real life wise, Edge had a neck injury and he was gone here for pretty much the whole year. And so that's why this made sense to me. This is one of the guys who took out Angle, and he's over here beating the shit out of Eddie Guerrero. This would be perfect for Edge's music to hit. Now he comes out in the spirit. But again,
Ringo, number 95.
That wouldn't have played into the storyline. It would have made for a great return. It wouldn't have played into the storyline, though. So that's why that didn't happen. And anyway, they had plans for Edge to come back on Raw, as we would later find out. But man, I love this. Is the segment of the night to me. And if I had to pick an overall best part of the show, matches and segments, I would pick this even over the Eddie Guerrero Chavo Guerrero match. This beatdown was great. It was a great way to have Angle turn. It was a great way to build up to WrestleMania. I love that Taz and Michael Cole laid back, let the whole beatdown take place and just didn't say nothing. It added to the drama. You can hear the fans more. You can hear the beatdown more. At one point, Rey Mysterio runs in and just tries to do a West Coast pop, and he just gets powerbomb for his efforts, and that went nowhere. And just Angle continued to beat down on Eddie Guerrero, and a great way to go off camera here. Angle go off air, excuse me, but camera air, same thing. Angle is walking to the back. He gets all the way to the top of the stage, and he looks back, and he essentially looks at what he had done. Eddie's laid in a pool of his own blood. The title's laid right next to him, and Angle's like, "Yeah, like I did that," and that's how they go off air. Great segment. What did you think about it?
First of all, I loved Kurt's referee outfit. No, so I guess assuming that's what Chavo Classic had, a no sleeve ref shirt on. Either that or Kurt like took the time to cut off the sleeves in between the entrances. But
now we got to look back and see when Heyman's handing or putting the shirt on his shoulder.
You think Kurt was like, he hears Chavo's music, he's at the seamstress, but he's like, quickly cut the. I don't want to look too stupid.
Well, this might have been pre-tapes. You don't know that.
Yeah,
it might have had more time than it seems to cut the sleeves off if he wanted to.
They just slowed down Chavo's entrance. It's like, ooh.
Well, Chavo never had an entrance. Chavo never had an entrance.
That's right. They gave him the fucking Chavo.
Because he got knocked out. It was Kurt Angle that came out.
Yeah.
Angle's music, yeah.
But this was a good segment, and this would be the start of what would be pretty much the year long storyline of Eddie versus Kurt.
Another great part of SmackDown in 04.
Yeah, and that wouldn't end until the big SmackDown in October or September when Big Show returned after they had a lumberjack match.
Oh, right. They had a No, I was thinking of the 2 out of 3 falls. You might be right. It was October. Yeah,
because Big Show returned. He chokeslammed everyone. And then, like, next week it was Big Show, choose who you want to face. He picked Kurt, and that started up their storyline.
No Mercy 04. Yeah, No Mercy 04. But
yeah, that was both Big Show.
That's the third pay-per-view that I ever saw live. So it was No Way Out 04, Great American Bash 04, No Mercy 04. I was a SmackDown kid, essentially. I mean, I love Raw too.
Yeah.
And during the summer, school's out, I get to watch Raw. But I was watching SmackDown because my bedtime's like 9 o'clock on school nights. So like I don't really get to see much of Raw on school nights. And SmackDown sometimes I was allowed to stay up an hour later and get to watch all of SmackDown.
Yeah, but I thought this was it's good to see like the intense Kurt because we would have been having at this point since June of 2003. So this might be Kurt's longest face run, but see like the intensity return of like Kurt just like good job Eddie, you won the title. Now I'm going to stop you and hurt you.
Yeah, like I said, this is a very underrated heel turn. Doesn't really get talked about that much. I loved it. Before we get to
Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah. Before we get to the velocity results, let's do everybody's overall ratings here. What did you think? Overall, out of 10.
7.
Okay. Christian had a very similar. He had 7.5, and I had a whole point fuller than Christian. I went 8.5 out of 10. This might have been around like the 7 if you take away that last segment. I had to boost this up because of that last segment, man. Kurt Angle just turning heel and beating the shit out of Eddie. That was a great moment. That's why I would give this 8.5 out of 10. You got some velocity news for the velocity from that week.
Velocity report. Taped before SmackDown with Josh Matthews and Bill DeMott as commentators. Justin Roberts as the announcer. Orlando Jordan defeated A-Train.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Wow.
In 2004, mind you, Orlando Jordan and A-Train.
A-Train was about to go to Raw. A-Train was about to go to Raw, yeah.
Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman, what a fucking team that is. Defeated Jamie
Animals.
Defeated Jamie Noble and Nunzio because I guess they just decided, hey, why not? Rhino defeated. Oh my God, Rhino defeated Shannon Moore. Here's a good Sakota
Yeah.
defeated Paul London, and we got a title match here tonight, folks.
Wow.
We got Rikishi and Scotty Tuhati, formerly known as Too Cool minus Grandmaster 60 because Grandmaster 60 is not in a good place in 2004. To be fair, neither is Rikishi. But they beat Johnny Stamboni and Chuck Palumbo before Chuck Palumbo left and became a biker.
Velocity and Heat was my childhood, man. I loved watching those shows.
I grew up without them.
Oh man, I feel bad for you. I know fucking when WWE when Raw went back to USA and they were no longer on Spike, Heat was no longer the thing. They moved Heat and Velocity to like internet specials, and it was hard to watch them on the internet specials.
I've actually been watching a lot of pre-pay-per-view Heats because I watched one, and now they're like, well, here's all the other pay-per-view Heat.
Yeah.
Like preview shows. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. It's young Josh Matthews.
Yeah. You watch them on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those I used to love watching those pre-shows because for one, you go in there. I can't wait to see how the stage looks. You don't even have that today. It's like,
you kind of have that. You kind of have that at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania, yeah.
And unfortunately for me, this year the stage design will be very, 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 very important.
This man is choosing to not go to
I saw Barry Trotz in fucking Nashville when his team scored in the last minute twice to kick our asses, and I had to listen to their stupid song. I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. I try so hard, I can't rise above it. I don't know what it is about them Predators scoring, but I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. And then they go, da-da, 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 da-da. Hey, you suck. Sorokin. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. I'm like, I just want to go home to New York, please.
I watched that game. I'm glad I wasn't there with you. That's all I'm saying. But are the greatest head coach not named Al Arbor to put on?
We're not going to win, Frank. We haven't beaten them since 2017.
Maybe, hey, maybe this is the day when it comes.
We're not going to beat them. We're never going to beat them, Frank. They're invincible.
He doesn't want to say thank you to Barry Trotz. He doesn't want to see the return to UBS Arena for the first time.
Look, Barry Trotz is not going to be allowed in that arena because Lou does not like people who have beards. And Lou and Trotz now has a goatee, and he's going to see Trotz and say, "You're not allowed in here." Well, actually, I'm pretty sure Lou is so senile that he probably thinks that Trotz is still in the organization. He's going to be like, "Shave that off. Why the fuck do you have a beard? I'm with the Predators." You're a predator? Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. I can't believe I hired you.
Oh, my gosh. So, State of Survival. Have you guys ever been to these events in person, or are your memories mostly TV? Well, for this show specifically, like I've said, I recorded this show, so this was definitely a TV moment. Tro was not a fan yet for this show. I was at I've been to
a few of the shows that we've reviewed. Mostly me and CJ reviewed because that's when I went to show. That's when I was going to like shows, WrestleManias. Still am going to WrestleManias, but
Yeah. So I've been to a few events. The first show I ever saw live was the second episode of this series, FNC's Retro Wrestling Reviews. Today it's FNT. Or at least for the back end of it, it's FNT. It's starting to become FNC for 10 minutes and then FNT finish it off.
This has been a cursed fucking show, dude. Everything that's gone wrong could.
Yeah, but the second show that we reviewed, this was long before Tro. It was the June 23rd, 2003 Raw, where Kane unmasked for the first time ever. Goldberg made his MSG debut. Christopher Nowinski sadly wrestled his last match ever because he had to retire early because of I was literally about to say because of COVID.
He was patient zero. I knew that double drop kick spot from the Royal Rumble 2003 packed more than just a punch. It apparently gave him COVID in 2003.
No, that spot. Oh my goodness, I feel bad for Nowinski every time I watch that spot. Oh my gosh, Edge and Mysterio, and it was like it was like a cool moment too. It's like Edge and Mysterio are back, bro. They used to team a couple of months ago, and now here they are again, teaming up in the Rumble. Boom! Oh god!
Boom!
And that is one of the reasons why Nowinski had to retire early, concussions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things that gave him a concussion. But yeah, that was the first show I ever went to live. It took a long time before I was back. It was the Holiday Tour. It was a house show, December 27th, 2011. If you look up CM Punk having
2011.
If you look up the fact that CM Punk was like stopped as he was entering the arena, he actually like had the ID and like show that he's actually CM Punk. Like that happened that night. I found out about that when we got home. It's like, what? This guy's been with the company.
That's a really weird show for you to go to.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a good show. The main event was Miz and Punk in a cage match. That was a decent match.
And I'm saying WWE in 2011. That's a very weird time for you to show up to the show.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't crazy about the product back then, but I mean, if somebody gets tickets, you know, of course you're gonna say yes. And
was this at the Coliseum?
No, Garden.
Wow, that's really weird.
Oh yeah, this was a house show at the Garden. They do the holiday. I think they still do the holiday things to this day, right?
Yeah, they had CM Punk return to the last one, his first match.
I wonder if they fucking stopped him at the door. Like, excuse me. Like, I've been through this before. You guys know who the fuck I am. Stop it. Punk wasn't happy too.
God damn it.
Yeah. What I remember reading about in the fucking dirt sheets, Punk wasn't happy about it. This was like the big story when I got home. Like, it's not like a big, huge, memorable story, but like for the time being, like, how does your top guy like get stopped going to the arena? Like,
you know, we actually have a lot. Me and you actually have a lot in common. We both went to the same signing of Batista and Melina. That was one of our biggest strikes of revelation. And both our first.
Yeah, there's the Melina autograph.
Both our first shows took place at MSG.
Ah, what was yours?
It was, now get this, 2006. I didn't know about the world events.
The world of
9/11. 9/11, 2006.
Oh,
I didn't know what 9/11 was.
There's an extra from that show on Unforgiven 06. I think the main event of that Raw is an extra on Unforgiven 06. Yeah. Was it like Hogan?
No, it was Cena, Carlito, and probably Jeff Hardy. No, not Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy wouldn't. Maybe Jeff Hardy. I don't remember the exact one, but I remember they faced Edge, Randy Orton, and Johnny Nitro, so it probably was Jeff Hardy. But man, this was during the peak of when I was a little kid, and I was just loving everything wrestling.
Yeah. So my next show after that house show, 2013, the week before my birthday. So this was sort of a birthday present. It was the Raw July 15th, 2013. Remember the show where John Cena picked his opponent for SummerSlam?
Yes.
That was the one. And that was at
Barclays. I was about to say that was at Barclays.
I went to 2 events at Barclays that year in 2013. That Raw, and then I got to see my birthday twin, Selena Gomez, in concert that October. What was the okay? So then so then I was at Final Battle 2013 Ring of Honor.
That's weird. Jesus Christ, Frank! You're just going like the antithesis of the shows that I think you'd go to. You're going to shows.
Let me tell you something. Back in the day, Back in the day, I was a huge Ring of Honor mark. I was, and I could still watch a Ring of Honor show, just not as crazy about as I used to be.
Yeah, next year you're gonna tell me, oh yeah, I was at All In. I was at the NJ. I was at the New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Close.
that mega show that they ran a few years ago, which was kind of the start of AEW.
It's not that one, but the next show I went to was only a few months after Final Battle. It was the first ever War of the Worlds, New Japan ROH. Kevin Owens, who is now Kevin Steen, actually faced. It was Kevin Steen, excuse me, at the time. He's now Kevin Owens. He faced Nakamura on that night.
Sounds like a good match. Sounds hard hitting.
Yeah. So both of those were at the Manhattan Center, and then I was so excited, I wanted to go to Final Battle 14, and for Final Battle 14, they left Manhattan Center. They went to something called something 5. I don't remember what Terminal 5. Yeah, So I never been to Terminal 5, but yeah, I kind of faded off for ROH. It was like a fad for me. I even ended up selling. I grew like this gigantic ROH DVD collection, and I sold them away a few years later.
I think I remember you selling those.
Yeah,
I think I remember you selling a lot of stuff at one point.
I've sold. I'm still trying to get rid of some DVDs. I don't really care for the pay-per-views in 06. I'm trying to get rid of those. I got every pay-per-view from 2018 because at the time I was working for Walmart, and it felt kind of cool to get the pay-per-views as they come out.
Yeah.
And for this the first time I was ever able to do that. So I legitimately brought every pay-per-view that year. I'm trying to sell those. What was I gonna say? So after that, the last show I was at was, I believe, in 2015. My God, no. I think that Raw, the 2013 Raw, was the last show I've ever been to. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a show at the Coliseum?
No.
See, that doesn't make any sense. Don't you kind of live near the Coliseum?
Not necessarily.
I don't want to name drop your location, your town name, but
I've kind of said it on here before. It wouldn't be the first time.
It's very flowery. I'll say that.
Belrose, yeah, Belrose.
I thought it was Floral Park.
Oh no! I'm not from Florida.
That's what the freaking when you signed in on the Twitter account, it said Floral Park. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, sometimes
that's weird.
Sometimes your login information, they get your location wrong. I swear that has happened before. Yeah, I'm not from Floral Park. I thought you knew because you were it's flowery. Yeah, Rose. Yeah.
You know what? I was like Floral Park, flowers. I would have gone to Floral Park and be like, Frank, where are you?
I think the Garden, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the Garden's closer than Nassau Coliseum. I might be wrong, but I think it is.
You see, I'm not sure because you said you live near UBS, and UBS is on that border, is in Elmont, which is the border between New York City, basically the New York City, what they consider New York City, which everyone should consider New York City. You're not, if you're from Queens or Brooklyn, you're not you're not Long Island. You're the city.
Yeah.
I guess you're probably right because Elmont is further away than the Coliseum, so you're probably right. Yeah. MSG probably is closer.
Further away from you mean, right?
It's further away from me, but it's also probably further because if Elmont's the border between the city and Long Island, and Nassau Coliseum was definitely in Hempstead, and
I have an idea. I have an idea for us to do later, and it would have to be about a half hour. But first, I want to get into what the next show I want to review. Like I said, it was a SmackDown in 04. Again, look, I love SmackDown in 04. Raw in 04 was great too. Don't get me wrong, but SmackDown was great too. So the June 10th. Shout out to my sister. June 10th is her birthday, and shout out to Jose Reyes. Is he June 11th or June 10th? Is one of those days. That's around his birthday too. the June 10th, 2004 SmackDown. This is another one I recorded and converted to DVD. So I still have this show. I'm gonna be watching the show with the commercials and everything.
You gotta bring up the commercials next time. We have to find out what's happening in the. You have to be like.
Okay, I can mention.
You can update it. You have to update it. It's like what's happening in New York.
What's
happening in New York on this day?
I can mention some of the commercials that I saw on watching last night. There's a very famous, well, I don't want to say famous, but I remember it very well. There's a White Castle commercial where they bring in the chicken sandwich, which is what I get all the time, crispy chicken sandwich. So this girl's bowling, and they're all at the bowling alley. The guy comes in, he's like, hey, he's talking to his friends as the girl's getting ready to bowl. He's like, hey, I got the new chicken sandwich. And we're hearing it from the girl's point of view. She just keeps hearing crispy chicken sandwich. She turns around and she gives one of the friends the ball. It's like, hold this. Like, oh, damn. It's like she takes the sandwich from him. So that was promoting White Castle. There was always the the Bowflex commercial. There was a shaver. I forgot what they called the shaver. There was a shaver they always showed.
Did you record the news?
No, I did not record the news. But
I was going to say you could have so much fun. You could talk about what was happening in the sports world that day. The Islanders all-star Alexei Yashin. There seems to be some rumblings though about perhaps the Islanders may be leaving the Coliseum soon one day. No, impossible.
There was
talk about the 04 Mets. This David Wright kid.
Do you know?
He sounds like a stud.
I was at David Wright's big league debut,
and I was at DeGrom's.
Nice. Oh yeah, you said that too earlier today. I did. Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. It was the day before my birthday. He actually got his first big league hit on my birthday in 2004. But
but watching the news, just like
like I said, the one thing that happened on the news that night was the Shaniqua thing because they promoted it to hell.
Good thing nothing else was happening. This was an election year, friend. Good thing there was nothing important else happening. Like John Kerry wins the Democratic nomination. They're like, shh, we got to talk to Shaniqua.
What else? There was always the anti-drug commercial. This is a commercial where like the girl is drowning. She's like, oh, and like her friend's just standing there like looking at her. And I forgot what it says. It was something like you'd save your friend from drowning, so why wouldn't you save her from smoking? It was something like that. I don't remember how it went.
Yeah, those anti-pot commercials. Like if you smoke weed, you'll be as deflated as this girl.
Yeah, maybe for when I do the watch for this one, maybe I'll put towards the end of my I'll write the end of my notes. I'll put like some of the commercials that stood out as like memories for me. I'll put those in the notes and I'll bring them up. But those are the Taco Bell commercial. There was a Taco Bell commercial, and anytime you hear that dun 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 dun, dun, that's just nostalgic as hell. Those Taco Bell commercials. I don't even remember what the commercial was about. The only thing I remember is that music, because that just brings back nostalgia. So the thing about the June 10th, 2004 SmackDown is this was where Paul Heyman gave Undertaker an ultimatum. This is only a few weeks after. This might even actually have been the week after. The Dudley Boys abducted Paul Bearer. And so what happens is at the end of the night, Paul Bearer comes out and he tells Undertaker, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. And so like at this time, like this seemed like big for me. Like they were building up like this was going to be special. So that's why I recorded it. And the funny thing, one of my favorite thing about this show is right at the beginning of that segment, Paul Bearer is like, folks, hit that record button. I'm like, way ahead of you, Paul. Already did.
Yes, Mr. Heyman. I'll do that. Good. He's like, good job, Frank.
So here's what I have planned. If you agree to this,
I have to eat dinner.
Well, we got 30 minutes, so how would you like to do a live watch along of the game tonight?
You love your chaos, don't you?
Hopefully, it'll be a good watch.
Halfway through, we're gonna be like, and there you go, we're fucked.
Yeah. Are you down?
Yeah, 30 minutes. 7 as the game thread says, 7:10-ish.
Yeah.
Is when
that's the thing too. We got to like 7:10. We're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, go
7:10-ish.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I'll charge my phone.
Yeah, go enjoy your meal, and if there are any Islanders State of Survival, if you're watching,
yeah,
something you can come through and
come on, misery loves company, guys. Come on, watch as Frank has optimism, and all my optimism goes. Well, I will say this though: if we score goals, I have to. My might freeze up because I have to go in the thread and type in Barzell, the Padawan.
So let me say something. So I know I am somewhat of a how you say it? All right, I'll put it this way. No, not a savant. Like if you wore something one day and things went bad, you wouldn't.
Traditionalist.
Not traditionalist, but you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So I have not brought the Stadium Series hat out for a game. I have worn it. I've even worn it on stream here. I have not brought it out for a game since the Stadium Series game. Should I do it today or should I go with a different hat today?
I mean, we lost that Stadium Series game.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking of changing the hat, and you'll see me in a different hat later today. I think I'm going to go with a different hat. Mitchell and Ness.
Okay.
All right, so I'll see you. We will see both of you. I'll see you, Tro, and we will see you guys.
Yeah, like around 7.
Yeah, around
7:10.
I'm gonna set up the studio right now.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. Some news here from State of Survival.
The lines changed.
Oh, okay. What are the lines? I want to hear.
I don't know them exactly, but I know that Martin is out. Okay. Barzell's on the second line. Who's on the first?
Why not just put Brock back on the second?
Well, because what's called Patrick Watt empathized tonight that it's all about speed.
Okay.
But he's keeping Anders Lee in there, and Anders Lee is fucking slow as hell. So makes sense.
Anders Lee is on the second line.
Yeah. No. Yes. I'm not sure. I don't know. It was also the projected lines. It was the morning skate lines, so those probably won't change. But I know that he's like, oh yeah, no, we like Matt Martin, but we're going for speed tonight.
All right. So we will be back at about 7:00. We will be doing our first ever live stream. Are we still live streaming the draft, by the way? Because I'm still down to do it.
Yeah, sure. It kind of lost the fun of if he gets traded mid-draft. But you know what? You can see my reaction as the Giants potentially either trade away their pick or fuck up and draft a quarterback in the first round.
And I'll tell you what, if the Bears decide to pick any other quarterback and not go with Caleb Williams, you will see an angry me. Because the only reason we're trading Jace Justin Fields
I'm kind of hoping for that now.
And there's also the reaction what we do with the 9th pick. So we got 3 picks on that day.
One of us has to be angry in the street, or the draft is going to be boring. If we're just good pick. Or there can be super crazy elation. Let me tell you what, if we trade up and get Marvin Harrison Jr. after taking Caleb, you'll see me go nuts in a good way. The Bears are like, we've traded the first overall pick. Yay! For Matt Ryan. No!
I don't want to trade the number 1 pick because now we don't have a quarterback. Now we need to take.
You've been saying for months, Frank, they're going to give you what you want.
They didn't.
We're going to get both the best worlds. They're going to trade away that first overall pick, and Justin Fields is going to be gone.
I'm hoping we take Caleb at 1, which I think is almost a guarantee. But there's all this. The media is still trying to make it interesting. Oh, what happens if they don't take Caleb? Like, shut your bitch ass up. They're taking Caleb.
Who knows? We draft Tim Couch again. No, Tim Couch Jr. No.
We're taking Caleb, and hopefully we trade up that 9th pick to get Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what I want.
Yeah.
The dream draft for me.
Yeah. Toodaloo.
All right, we'll see you guys in a half hour. Thank you to State of Survival. Thank you to Tro. He did spend about a half hour here, so thank you to Christian. And thank you to anybody who might watch this replay. It's not a replay, but who might watch this on demand. Thank you. And again, please subscribe, like the video, and thank you.